שם,
רק שמחה הוא לעם.
סביבון סוף סוף סוף, חנוכה הוא חג טוב, חנוכה הוא חג טוב, סביבון סוף סוף סוף, חג שמחה הוא לעם, נס גדול היה שם, נס גדול היה שם, חג שמחה. אין סביבון סוף סוף סוף, חנוכה הוא חג טוב, חנוכה הוא חג טוב, סביבון סוף סוף סוף, חג שמחה הוא לעם, נס גדול היה שם, נס גדול היה שם, חג שמחה הוא לעם. If you look further down, number 8, this is one for the younger kids. If you have younger kids at home, or you have any of you here, you might have heard of Mattathias bold, 5 brave sons had he, Eliezer eldest son, Simon, John and Jonathan, and Judah Maccabee. And Judah Maccabee, it's the only way I would ever remember the 5 brave sons of Mattathias bold, right? Mattathias bold, 5 brave sons had he, Eliezer eldest son, Simon, John and Jonathan, and Judah Maccabee. There you go. So if you didn't know that, you have it here. Then if you turn the page, adults, you'll need to help me out here because you've got the words in front of you. Oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance a hora. Gather round the table, I'll give you a treat. Sevivon to play with and while we are dancing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shared a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shared a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. Each Hanukkah we glorify brave Judah Maccabeus. He had the courage to defy Antiochus and free us. Yet it is not fair that we should forget Mrs. Maccabeus, to whom we owe a debt. She mixed it, she fixed it, she poured it into a bowl. You need to learn this section. You may not guess, but it was the latkes that gave brave Judah a soul. You may not guess, but it was the latkes that gave him the courage to fight. The Syrians said it cannot be that old Mattathias, whose years are more than 83, will dare to defy us. But they didn't know his secret, you see. Mattathias dines on latkes and tea. 1 latke, 2 latkes, and so on into the chorus. And you may not guess, but it was the latkes that gave brave Judah a soul. You may not guess, but it was the latkes that gave him the courage to fight. Now this is how it came about, this gastronomic wonder that broke the ranks of Syria like flaming bolts of thunder. Mrs. Maccabeus wrote into the dough portions of the Torah, then fried them just so. They simmered, absorbing the olive oil. You may not guess, but it was the latkes that gave brave Judah a soul. You may not guess, but it was the latkes that gave him the courage to fight. Now these little latkes, brown and delicious, must have hit the spot, 'cause with appetites vicious, all the heroes downed them after their toil, causing in our temple a shortage of oil. 1 latke, 2 latkes, and so on into the night. You may not guess, but it was the latkes that gave brave Judah a soul. You may not guess, but it was the latkes that gave him the courage
to fight.
Well, there you go. Now that you know the story, you learned it here first, right? You all got that. Now, the turn to the page, some of the younger people will know, I had a little dreidel, I made it out of
clay.
And when it's dry and ready, then dreidel I shall play. Oh, dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. Oh, dreidel, 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 now dreidel I shall play. It has a lovely body, with legs so short and thin, and when it is all tired, it drops and then I win. Oh, dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. Oh, dreidel, 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 now dreidel I shall play. My dreidel's always playful, it loves to dance and spin, a happy game of dreidel. Come play, now let's begin. Oh, dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. Oh, dreidel, 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 now dreidel I shall play. I had a little dreidel, I made it out of snow. I put it in my pocket, now where'd my dreidel go? Oh, dreidel, 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 I made it out of snow. Oh, dreidel, 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 oh, dreidel. Where'd my dreidel go? I'm going to turn the page and sing one last song. This is a song that you may or may not know, Sulam Banu Choshech. You may or may not know this one, but my kids brought it back from kindy. So I was very impressed that they're learning this kind of song, which even our Israeli friends don't necessarily all know this, because it's really one of those songs that they learned in their childhood. Banu Choshech legaresh, beyadenu or ba'esh, kol echad u or katan, וכולנו אור איתן, סורה חושך על השור, סורה מפני האור, סורה חושך על השור, סורה מפני האור. How many of you know that one? Yeah, I said, oh, look at that. Yes, because you came from Israel, right? And you may have had a child who went to kindy and learned it. Otherwise, I don't think you would recognize this one, but they're teaching it in kindergarten here. I'm going to wrap up with our Hanukkah songs and move us to page 138, because we do need to actually have some of our liturgy from tonight. And the first part of the liturgy is that we welcome the Sabbath bride with the words of Lecha Dodi. Page 138. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה. בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה. בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה. בני שבת נקבלה.
שמו ושחו בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת בגיתילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו בניך, כי מקור הברכה, בראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבת תחילה. לך
דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומאורי, אורי אורי שדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נקרא.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תריצי, היד איש בן פרצי, בן ישמחה בן הגילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה.
Ichala bo ichala. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Enei Shabbat negavla. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Enei Shabbat negavla. And so I'm going to invite the whole of the Green family to come up, and Nate, you're going to light candles for us. So in order to do that, you'll need to come up here, and you'll need a prayer book. Perhaps, Ido, if you can pass me my prayer book. So just come up here. Thank you very much. As we remain standing for another moment before we light our candles, you will find us on page 100. Here we go. Now, could you read for us from there?
As these candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
And so just as we've welcomed the Shabbat bride through the singing of Lecha Dodi, we've lit a memorial candles, we've lit all our Chanukiyot, so too I invite you to light the Shabbat candles. Okay, thank you. And bring in Shabbat. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Turn to each other. If there's someone nearby whose name you do not know, introduce yourselves, get to know them, and make sure that they feel warm and welcome. Shabbat Shalom.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
Page 140. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלנה
והרי היגיון וחינוך.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך רנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך.
איש פעל לא ידע,
וכסיל לא יבין את זאת.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. צדיק אתה עמד יברח, ארץ בלבנון, בלבנון ישגה. שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו אור ינובון בשבע תשני ורענני יהיו להגיד ישר אדוני We rise on page 144 for the Chatzi Kaddish and the call to prayer. Amen. ובזמן קריב
ואמרו
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהרה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה
בריחו
לעילם מן כל בחטא
ושמחתה ונחמתה דנירן בעלמה
ואמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. Please be seated and join with us on page 148 in the Hebrew. Baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, בחוכמה פותח שערים ובתבונה משנה עתים. ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים. תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים. Page 150. אהבת עולם אין עמך אהבת עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות תימותנו לימדת אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד.
כי
הם חיינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה. אהבתך ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
שם ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום הלבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות ידיך, והיו לתותפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו הציצית הכנף בתיר תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Join with me at the bottom of page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, there is one God in heaven and on earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ledar b'kodesh, nora teilot oseh pele, nora teilot oseh נורא תהילות עושה פלא, מלכותך ראו בניך, חוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה ליאנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי כבר אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. On page 161, join with me at the top of the page. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal One, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts, eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporetz sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Eternal One, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדודם ברית עולם.
בני ובן בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ.
וביום השביעי שבת בי נפש, וביום השביעי שבת בי נפש.
And so we rise on page 164 for the Amidah or the Tefillah. This evening we will be reading silently the Amidah. I invite you to take also a moment to turn to page 556 and read the special reading for the night of Hanukkah. I invite you to join together, whether using the words of the prayer book or the words of your hearts, in a moment of silent prayer and meditation. Adonai sefadai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha.
Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleinu ועל כל ישראל יעשה שלום. Shalom Aleinu ועל כל ישראל יעשה שלום. יעשה שלום. Shalom Aleinu ועל כל ישראל יעשה שלום. Shalom Aleinu ועל כל ישראל יעשה שלום. Shalom Aleinu ועל כל ישראל.
Yashar Kochachem to Cantor, to Sharon, and to Ido. It's December the 8th, and they're still generating that sort of enthusiasm, that sort of energy. I'd say kol hakavod. I don't know, I can't muster it anymore. I need a break. Okay. We reside in a world which has been, for Jews and for people of conscience, shrouded in darkness since the events of October the 7th. News reports can serve to further infuriate us, whether it be in the halls of the United Nations or in the chambers of the US Congress. The response of some in our world to the massacres of the 7th are outrageous. And it sends us to look for silver linings. From whence cometh our light this year at Hanukkah, and how will we find a degree of joy, of simcha? Well, I found a couple of silver linings, one of which I would like to share with you. But before I do so, let me not neglect to welcome those who are visiting with us here in the synagogue, possibly for the very first time or for the first time in a long while. I want to welcome our guests from Toronto and others who are here visiting together with family. I want to welcome my old friends, Brian and Jenny Green, who are here to celebrate the bar mitzvah of their grandson of Nate tomorrow afternoon, and Brian to mark his second bar mitzvah. That's very exciting. Have you prepared your Torah reading? Good enough. All right. Well, that's fantastic. So where is the silver lining? Some of you may have come across in the Times of Israel a project called Project Menorah. Anybody see it or hear of it? Apparently, in response to what is increasingly the amount of anti-Semitism everywhere, an actor on a Hollywood lot named Adam Kolbersh came with an idea that was inspired by his 6-year-old son, Jack. For Jack had expressed concern, for he remembered when he was but 5 years old how his family placed their Chanukiyot in the window facing the Rachov, facing the street, as the minhag, the customary practice, is to do. But Adam Kolbersh, wanting to ensure the safety of his child and his family, concluded at first that he wouldn't do it, for he didn't want to invite trouble. He didn't want to further incite the anti-Semites. But in just a little while, he gave rise to Project Menorah, reasoning that for 2,000 years it has been a Jewish tradition to proudly display Chanukiyot for the public to see. A concept which is referred to as Pirsum Hanes, the publishing of the miracle. So the good news and the silver lining is that the Project Menorah has developed into a website that offers downloadable menorahs for people to print and to place in their windows. There is information provided about the appalling state of anti-Semitism, as well as reports of what had occurred on the 7th of October. Adam said, "I never thought I'd live in a world where a child would be afraid to put out a holiday decoration." When I read about the Menorah Project, I was taken back many years to 1993, where in Billings, Montana, a very remote spot in a state which is home to only 500,000 people, can you imagine? There was a wave of activity attributed to the Ku Klux Klan and white supremacists. And on Hanukkah 1993, 30 years ago, there were rocks being thrown through windows in an effort to intimidate and threaten and to scare off the Jews, the very small community of Billings, Montana. Then, as now, there was a response that says something of the gevurah, the heroism, and the principle of people of every faith. The story of that window, which shattered in 1993, was carried in the newspaper, and there arose such a cry that its citizenry demanded a response. And on the very next day, in the newspaper was a full-page spread of a Chanukiyot printed there with the instruction to display it in the window of every home in Billings, Montana. And they taught there about the activists who, in the time of the Holocaust in Denmark, were inspired by the legend of the Danish king, about which some of you know, who wore a yellow star to stand together with all of his citizens. So in Billings, everyone became Jewish for 8 days. And then, famously, a photograph was taken of people of every faith and background and color, all standing on the main street of Billings, holding their Chanukiyah. It is nothing short of outrageous to think that in 2023, that a child or any Jew should fear to display something of their pride and to fulfill the mitzvah of hadlakat nerot, as our tradition urges us to do. And so I encourage you to be bold and to light your Chanukiyot not just in the synagogue tonight, but each and every night, and let the miracle of Hanukkah be proclaimed this year as it is each and every year. Shabbat Shalom, Chanukah Sameach, on behalf of my wife Jocelyn, in the event that we don't see you again for some time. It's been a pleasure, as we say in South Africa, just a pleasure to be with you, and we hope to see many of you, should your schedule allow, again on Sunday from 4 o'clock to 6, when we'll celebrate in song our now 2 full-year association. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Please rise on page 586 as we come to our concluding prayers and the Aleinu. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונה.
And so we remain standing for a few more moments as we turn to page 598. And we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. This Erev Shabbat, we think this Hanukkah, we think of those who are unable to celebrate Hanukkah, those taken captive, Itzrik Elgarat, 69, who went to lock the safe room door when the terrorists shot at the door. Danny, his brother, was on the phone with him at the time and could hear yelling in the background. Itzrik said, "Danny, this is the end. This is the end." At 12:10, Danny saw that his brother's phone was located in Gaza. And Omri Miran, 46, was taken captive on October 7th by Hamas from Kibbutz Nir Oz, leaving his wife, Lishai Miran, 38, and their 2 small daughters. Those we remember, the cost of war, whom we will never forget. Lior Hadat Atias, 36, volunteered at the musical festival to counsel youth in crisis. And Bilha Epstein, 81, a kibbutz elder who was eager to meet a first great-grandchild. With sadness, we mark the passing of Sandra Dinner-Faber and Penny Jakubowicz and Leonid Kamenetsky, who have passed away and whose funerals will be in the forthcoming days. In the period of Shiva, we remember Andrei Rivenel, Victoria Tau, Vivian Gelman, and Frieda Schweitzer. And we remember the Shloshim of Coral Hutchison, Ross Liebman, Jean Zemmel, Fela Habig, Pauline Pogorelski, David Zingier, George Rechnitzer, Gordon Katz, Peter Windholz, Judith Druzovic, Kate Rotman, and Harvey Skolnick. And the yard sites which fall this Shabbat: Nathan Artenstein, Julian Basser, Kurt Beildek, Raymond Cohen, Zelman Cowan, Bluma Holzdorf, Nathan Jacobson, Bella Jakubowicz, Regina Kempfler, Jaime Colt, Maurice Corman, Marion Lawrence, Bruce Lebransky, Marion Levy, Sidney Morgan, Julius Penner, Ignacy Rosenthal, Shaul Ribajan, Leah Schoenfeld, Malcolm Sharman, Roy Sharp, Alex Silberscher, Isabel Slonim, and Heinz Ziffer. If you would like to call out other names, please do so as I look around the room. Zichronam Levracha, we remember them for a blessing along with all those who are dying so unnecessarily in conflicts, whether in Israel, in Ukraine, or elsewhere around the world. Page 598, we join together in the words of Kaddish Yatom. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ברכו. לעילה מנכ"ל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלם הרבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all of Israel, and to all of humanity. And we say, Amen. Amen. And so we move straight to Kiddush. For those of you who wish, the red is wine, the white is grape juice. And I'm going to invite a few of our board members to help pass out a little bit of wine and grape juice. Just make sure that our junior members take the white and not the red. My suggestion, parents, it's up to you. But it is going to be a borei pri hagafen in either case, as we join together in the Kiddush. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המוציא לחם מן הארץ. Amen. Shabbat Shalom and B'teavon. As we finish with Maoz Tzur, I'll invite you to take a piece of challah, greet everyone around you. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Hanukkah Sameach. Maoz Tzur Yeshuati Lecha na'el Shabeach Zikon Be'tefilati Ve'sham Torah Nezabeach Le'dachim Matbeach Mizaram Nabeach
Solomon, thank you, buddy. It was a big help.
Chanukiyot המזבח, אז אגמור בשיר מזמור, חנוכת המזבח. For those of us in the synagogue, please enjoy some donuts.